Hi guys, Rob from Rob's Model Cars and welcome back to the channel. Now today you join me for part 5 of how to build the Hobby Design LB Works Audi R8 and since the last video I have finished painting the body. Now again I've painted this in a white automotive 2-pack, painted it white, applied a couple of thin coats of clear, then I applied all the decals. And then I let the decals dry and I finished off with another 2 coats of clear over the decals. So these are embedded into the paintwork and they'll never peel or fade or come off. Now I've also referred back to my previous video because I couldn't remember all the parts that were painted black. I didn't remember this being all painted black. So I went back through one of my old videos and found out that before I stripped the paint off this model, this whole front section was painted black. Of course, the weather seal around the windows and just some paint outs on the inside as well around the door jamb and inside the wheel wells also. So that's the body. The body's all finished. All the extra panels are finished as well. So again, all the decals are under the clear. Little bit of matte black detail painting with the brush. Just the same parts that were painted before. You would have noticed last time that I had the windows masked up and the door trims as well, so I've just painted the door trim because I couldn't get the door trim or the window out, so that worked out fine. Pulled all the masking off. There's no paint on the window, which is a good thing. And then just all the other little aero parts that came with the Hobby Design kit. They're all body coloured on this one. We've got the little rear wing also. I've just painted the underside matte black. Left the wing white. Same with the hatchback as well. Wasn't easy to try and remove this rear window, so I just masked that up and painted the rear part. The rest of it's just matte black. I've just got to clean the plastics with some Tamiya cleaner just to remove a couple of little marks. And if you watch my how to apply carbon fibre decal video, you would have known that I've already done these parts, which are the carbon fibre parts. I re-cleared these and got them super glossy. So now it's just time to start reassembling the model. So yeah, we'll just basically do everything in reverse from when I stripped this original model. So I'll start putting the interior pieces in, headlights, tail lights, fit the doors. So yeah, I won't bore you with all those details. I'll just start assembling this and we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so I've just glued a few parts on. I started with the roof trim that fits in there. The dashboard's just sitting in there, relocated on these couple of pins. I've fitted the little side windows in there. I just used some of the Bob Smith Industries Super Gold Plus, which is perfect for clear parts. And I've just fitted the side blade panels back in there as well. So they just tuck in underneath the rear flare, seeing that we glued this onto the body already. So that wasn't an issue to slide that in behind the flare. And I've just put a couple of little drops of glue where the plastic tabs stuck through. I showed you when we disassembled the model that I just cut or ground those off. I just put a little drop of glue back in there and that actually holds the part back in there. And I also did the same with the little fuel filler as well. So I just pushed that back into the hole and just a drop of glue behind it. So we'll keep moving forward and adding more parts to this body shell. Alright, so we've got a few more parts installed now on the body. I've fitted the headlights, which simply just went back into the original locations. I've fitted the 2 grills either side and the centre grille, so we still have to add the Liberty Walk number plate on the front there, but that's pretty much very straightforward just to reinstall those parts. I've done the same on the rear also. I've refitted the tail lights and the tail light lenses. Just these side grills either side as well. and also the exhaust tips. They were already chrome with the black insert, so I've just re-glued those back in. And I've just finished installing the rear wing and the engine cover and the engine assembly, which just screwed in with the 4 screws. So as you can see, I've added a little bit of copper paint. You do get this little Liberty Walk panel, which comes on the photo etch sheet, which you can see there, copper, which just glues straight onto the plastic engine, and the copper pieces on the side. They're the original parts of the Kyosho Audi model. I just tried something a little bit different there, just to add a little bit of colour. I think it looks pretty cool having a little bit of copper in there. I couldn't find any pictures on the internet of the Liberty Walk engine bays, so I'm not quite sure what colour they paint those, but I'm pretty happy with that. That's just some Tamiya copper. I think the colour is XF6, so I just brushed that on just to give it a little bit of a metallic effect. And that retains the pop-up button on the underside, which releases the engine lid, so that just works. You just got to be careful when you reinsert this compartment from underneath. You have to line up those 2 little gas struts and insert the smaller part into the larger part. But once you get that in there, it's just 4 screws and screws back together again. So we're getting there. That's all the lights are in. That's the engine part. I'm going to do the doors, I think, next, and maybe the hood. Just got to take a break for some dinner, and then we'll get back into it. Alright, so I've had a chance and I've fitted the doors onto the model, and I've also fitted the hood back onto the model as well. Now I did glue in the bottom section of the struts, but they just kept pushing out, so after I glued them in there, but I found that the hood still stays open without them, so I'm not sure I will actually fit those little struts back in there. I might just leave it as it is like that. So everything seems to fit okay. The hood seems to fit back on the model okay. We do have a little bit of a gap between the flare here, but that's the reason why I fitted those tight to the top one before we painted the model. There is a little bit of a gap there, but that was like that before. I think the hood's fitting tightly to the top of the grille, and the doors fit okay as well. I'll be honest with you, this one doesn't quite close properly. It seems like there's a bit of a binding issue in the front here, but I've checked all the clearances, and you know, sometimes when you repaint a model, maybe my paint was a little bit too thick behind there, and the tolerances, it's just a little springy. It doesn't quite close by a couple of millimeters. So just being real with you guys, that sometimes not everything goes perfectly back together the way it was. I'm really not too happy with the way Kyosho puts these models together. They use way too much glue, and some parts broke when I disassembled the model, and I think some of their tolerances are really very tight in here behind the door, because that's where it seems to be binding. I didn't do a really thick clear coat on this model, but I've still got binding issues there. I spent about half an hour trying to find out why. I really couldn't. The only thing that I think is the window here at the front. That's sitting against the opening in the metal body there. I really can't do anything about that. I don't want to try and heat up the window here and bend it out a little bit, so I will more than just likely live with this, and when I want to display the model closed, I'll probably just put a little piece of blue tack in behind the door just to hold it shut. So just want to show you guys that, you know, not every time you do a custom model everything goes together perfectly, and this is just a classic example on this door. The other side's okay, the other door shuts okay, it's just this side, as you can see. It's only maybe 2 millimeters, but a little bit annoying at that anyway. So I'm going to keep moving on from that. We've just got the interior pan to put in. I've clipped the front storage bucket back in place. So yeah, just going to fit the interior in next, which I didn't do anything to this one. I'm just leaving the interior black. The Hobby Design kit does come with some new pedals to replace these ones, but I'm just going to save those for another project and just keep this interior stock. So time to put the interior back in. This is just held in by 4 screws, and it's sort of a little bit tricky to get it back in, but we'll give it a go. I've just got to line up that steering column to make sure that's in the right position. The wheel is actually upside down, so we'll turn that one around. Don't want an upside down steering wheel. That wouldn't look too good. And that just sits on the four white pegs in here, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. So that's pretty much ready to screw in. Just grab my foam pad again. And we've just got 4 screws for that. So time to screw those back in. So as I say, if you can't remember all the steps of how to put the interior back together again, just watch the disassembly video of this model and just do the reverse of what you saw in that one. And I've had to refer back to that video as well because I've had a couple of other builds going at the same time, and you tend to forget sometimes which order things came out. If you're just building one model, that's probably alright. Just going to make sure that steering wheel is right. Yep, that's okay. And then we'll just tighten those screws up a little bit more for that interior pan. So we're getting very close to the end of this model, so we've just got to do the brakes, wheels, and put the floor back in. Overall, no complaints with the Hobby Design kit. As always, it fits perfect to the model. As I say, it's just the way Kyosho puts these models together. Not the easiest to pull them apart, but there you go. So that is the interior pan fitted back into the model, as you can see there. And I usually just leave the front window till last, just to make sure that when I'm handling the model, you do get little bits of dust in it. That way I can blow the model out and make sure there's no dust sitting in the interior, and then the front window will actually be one of the last things that I put in the model, and then I can give it a final polish. But we're definitely getting there. Model's starting to look really cool. I really like it. So the next thing is I'll just put this to a side. The next thing we've got is the brakes. Now the brakes that come with the kit, let me just grab that. You do get the photo etched brakes with the Hobby Design kit. You do get the photo etched rotors and the resin brake calipers. Now I've already used those because I'm putting a different set of wheels on this model, but you can see behind there you get the cross-drilled photo etched brake discs and these resin calipers as well. Now they just basically replace the standard ones. So if you look, oh, here we go, I've already taken that one off. The standard calipers just fit onto the hubs like that. Now if you just wiggle those a little bit, they will come off. There's a slot in the back of the caliper, and that glues onto this little tab on the steering knuckle. Basically the Hobby Design new resin calipers just glue straight back on there exactly the same way as the Hobby Design ones do, or the Kyosho, sorry. And it's the same with the rear ones. You can see I've just broken that one off there, and we'll do that one as well there. So a little bit of wiggling and it'll just come straight off. So you can see the slot in the back of that just goes onto there. So you can basically just use the Hobby Design calipers, put them straight back onto the hubs, and glue the photo etched disc brake. You can glue that onto the black resin backing, and then they will just slip straight onto here. Now the kit does come with Hobby Design Forgiato wheels. I'll just get this box out so I can show you. These wheels and tyres do come with the kit. They are in two pieces, so that if you want to paint the centre and the rim a different colour you can. Then you can just glue those back together. They do come with really good quality tyres as well. And these will, you can see there's a ring on the back of there. They will actually just retrofit straight back onto those Kyosho hubs. So they'll just basically clip straight on there like that. So you've still got working steering. Of course you've got to put your brakes on first, and then just put the wheels on. I'll just try and get that off without breaking it, because I want to save these wheels for another model. Anyway, so that's basically how the wheels and brakes go onto this model. Really easy, not too difficult at all. Just going to try and get that off with a bit of force. I'll do that later. So yeah, now it's time to actually install the floor back into the model. Okay, so I've been wrapping up the build of this model. As you can see, I've fitted the wheels onto it now. I've fitted the lower body kit, which is the side sills here, the front splitter on the front, and there's only a couple of pieces to go now. So I do have the rear diffuser. Now this just basically glues in front of the floor, so you don't take that stoplight or the mesh out. This will just actually glue in front of those, like so. And just a couple other things to do. I'll put the LB license plates on. You do get some photo etched Audi 4-ring logos in the Hobby Design kit as well, for the hood also. So I haven't painted those black yet. I'm probably going to paint those black and then glue those onto the body. I've got the side mirrors to go on and the front window to go in. And that's basically about it. I'll wrap that up outside of this video, and I'll do a full video of it in the custom model series videos. So I'll wrap this video series up here. So that is part 5 of how to build the Hobby Design LB Works Audi R8. Overall, I'm really happy again with the Hobby Design kit. It fits perfectly to the body. The only negative for me was the actual way that Kyosho put these models together. Really way too much glue to use. They definitely don't come apart as easy as, say, a Hot Wheels model or other brands of models. But nonetheless, we did get it apart, and we fitted up this kit and got it looking like this artesian Audi R8. So I really like the decal set on this one. As I showed you in the earlier videos, you do get a lot of different options for the decals in this kit, so you can paint it any colour you want. But yeah, that's it for this video series. So thanks for tuning in and watching all the way through all 5 parts. Hopefully if you want to build one of these yourself, my video series has helped you and given you a little bit of assistance along the way. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, we've got plenty of new supercar models to review. I'll continue on constantly building custom models. We'll see what other kits are coming out, and I'll do how to build tutorials on those as well. But that's it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video series. Stay tuned for the next one. Stay tuned to the channel. I've got some beautiful new models from BBR and MR on the way. And thanks for watching Rob's Model Cars. So until next time, bye for now.